In today's video, let's help people understand, why is dog culture so heavily marketed? Why is owning a dog touted as some type of great relief and great friend when really it's almost none of the things that the dog is marketed as? So, historically, products that were marketed aggressively often use propaganda techniques to influence public perception and behavior. For example, tobacco and fossil fuel companies employed misleading advertisement, emotional appeals to promote their products while downplaying the health risks. So downplaying the health risk is a big part of this. And check it out. Downplaying the environmental impacts. So that's what's going on with dog culture. If you want to know about dog attacks, face surgeries, all the diseases that dogs carry, you really got to dig that information up. Most places where you go adopt a dog, they won't tell you about that. They won't tell you about how owning a dog affects your hormones, having a permanent baby in your life, and of course, other health risks with dog ownership. And there's their environmental impacts. We got 90 million dogs in the USA at least. That's the pet domestic dogs. That's not including all the strays, with no system set up to deal with their waste. So these dogs run around messing with protected animals, breathing CO2 in our face, which increases viral transmission. A lot of people never heard of that and never were told about it. And they're filling our country with feces. They're eating all of this top quality, high dollar dog food and just, filling our environments with all types of nasty stuff. So, historically, stuff that's marketed like this is often because of propaganda. So, how does this propaganda get delivered, though? If all this information about the health risk and waste is available, how come people aren't aware of it? So, check out this stuff about buyer's remorse. So, a lot of people cope with the buyer's remorse by promoting the product to themselves and others to justify their purchases. So this is well documented with dog owners. They get a dog, they realize something isn't right here. Their couch gets chewed up, their friend gets bitten, their floor is messed up with feces. But then, everybody tells them that dogs are great, and so what they do is they basically sell it to themselves and others, themselves or others, attempting to justify their purchase and alleviate feelings of regret. So instead of alleviating the regret for getting this fanged beast that's costing you more than you thought it would, people will just try to justify it. Well, he needs love. Well, he needs a forever home. Well, the people on Facebook gave me a hard time when I wanted to rehome him. Yeah. So what they're doing with this is they're reducing cognitive dissonance associated with the purchase. So they're basically in denial. But the way that they cure the pain from their denial is they go out and they promote a dog as the best thing ever, and then people see that, and then they go get a dog, and then they're going through the same thing, this whole thing right here. So that's part of the way that dog culture propaganda gets pushed out. It's through the people that regret getting dogs because, they don't want to admit that, wow, some of those people are right. My house stinks. These bites on my arms are not good. This vet bill, and now I can't buy tires for my truck. Yep. So here's a summary from a couple other sources, but it says many dog owners have remorse due to the challenges and responsibilities that come with dogs, such as time commitment, financial cost, lifestyle changes. It's common as feelings of regret to arise, especially in the early days. And if you read some of these sources, another reason for regret is family fights. Family fights because they spent too much money getting the dog, or because the dog bit somebody and now they're going to argue over whose fault it is. The dog bit the kid. Oh, it's dad's fault. No, it's mom's fault. No, it's the trainer's fault. They have these family spats over the dog, and they don't want to admit that they're feeling distress, so they'll just jump on Facebook, like in our previous slide, or jump into a conversation and start talking about how amazing it is owning this dog, even though all this crap is going on in their life in the background. And right now, the most marketing for dogs goes to a certain age group, and that's millennials. So millennials are a huge consumer in this industry. So this says that dog ownership is targeted in marketing campaigns using data on pet owners' purchasing behaviors to create effective advertisement for pet products. So they want you to buy all this stuff. And so this is just super duper heavily marketed. It's filled with propaganda. They need to lie to you about the financial, the environmental effects of this. So here's a little thought exercise when you're thinking about, why are dogs so heavily promoted? Why are they so heavily promoted in like certain countries and certain age groups when we never needed dogs? Like, we don't need these filthy beasts in our freaking life. So look at this. Humans have been here for 300,000 years. Okay? And that's just Homo sapiens, like our ancestors before, like 700,000 years. So we've been around here for a long time. So domestic dogs, they think, is 15 to 40,000 years ago, is when they first started domesticating them. So that's 40,000 years from what did we say, guys? 300,000 years. So we've been here 260,000 years, and we haven't needed a dog up in our apartment costing us money, ruining our carpet, barking at us, barking at our friends, becoming a tool of narcissist attention getting. For 260,000 years, we haven't needed this crap. That's why this is so heavily marketed, because naturally we don't need dogs. We're supposed to have humans. Dogs are just a cheap facsimile. Yeah. And so, even though dogs have been kept as pets for thousands of years, it's only been like the last couple centuries that they've been marketed as this thing that everybody needs for their family. You got to get a yellow lab. You got to get a chocolate lab and a Pibbles pit bull, and you got to be a good dog owner. And you got to teach your kids to respect dogs. We've been on this earth for 260,000 years without this ridiculous expense, turd shooting, piss squirting, toddler biting creature. And how do you convince a population that they need this damn thing? Like, what in the hell is going on? Well, we have convinced everybody that they need a dog, and the only way that can happen is through lies and propaganda and ridiculously expensive and extensive marketing. Oh, and dogs are just a throwback. They're a throwback to technology. Dogs originally were for working roles: herding, hunting, guarding, stuff like that. So we have technology that can do all of that. Even all this stuff about dogs that can detect a stroke or detect a seizure. We have little wearable watches that can monitor our blood pressure and our body temperature at the rate of, sampling times many million samples per second. So we have technology that can do better than a sniffing dog. Like, oh, my dog sniffed out my diabetes and all that type of stuff. All of the work that people think dogs do these days, including police dogs that are constantly attacking innocent people. We have technology. We don't need a working dog. And dog culture pushers, they know that, and that's why they always market dogs so heavily. So yeah, if you ever wonder why dogs are marketed so heavily, well, you got to take a human that's been on this earth for 300,000 years and convince it that a very, very small percentage of its life it's had dogs, and that it can't live without dogs. That's an addiction, you guys. That's like giving people vaccines that they don't need, or convincing them that they have to drink beer or smoke cigarettes. Just like the cigarette ads back in the day, doctors prefer Camels, pregnant moms prefer Winstons. Yeah. And a super extra bonus point, look at this part right here. Providing companionship to humans. That's the job of your fellow humans. These stupid dogs took our jobs. So you want to talk about, undocumented workers coming into our country taking our jobs? Our job is human connection, and we're replacing it with these nasty dogs. And it's time to take our jobs back. It's time to bring humanity back into favor. See you guys later.